She's funny, she's smart, she craves chocolate every day, and she is the Greek goddess of comedy. Here is your host, Ellen Karis.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Karis's Comedy Corner. My name is Ellen Karis, and you are listening to the guest edition of Karis's Comedy Corner. I told you we were going to get some fabulous guests, and I'm very excited about the one that we have today. Before we start, we got sponsors. Thank God. First sponsor is Baywalk Marketing. Go to their website, baywalk.net, for all of your advertising and marketing needs. They can help you with any kind of a flyer, any type of social media analysis you might need. They are also experts in the Greek community. Go to their website, hollywoodgreeks.com, to find out where all your Greek entertainment needs are, and hellenicfestivals.org to find out where there is a Greek festival near you, which has been going on. So we thank them for their support. And also our other sponsor is Select Flex. What is it? It's an orthotic. What's an orthotic? It's also called an insert. You put it in your shoe. Why are these different than the normal ones that are in the drugstore? Because they have an adjustability in the arch. You can adjust the arch to firm, and extra firm, depending on what your needs are. I never work out without them. They're really great. Everything starts from the foot. They support your ankles, your hips, your back, your entire alignment. Go to their website, selectflex.com, selectflex.com. And for Karis Comedy Corner listeners, there's a 25% discount if you type in the code FAMILY25, FAMILY 25, because I feel as if you, my listeners, are my family, except I fight with you a lot less. So go to their website. They are fantastic. And we thank them for their support. Get it? All right. Horrible. All right. I never do those two companies justice, but they hang with me. All right. I'm very, very excited. We are going to get right to this because this beautiful, talented woman is incredibly busy. She is a comedian, an actress, a writer. I was just looking at some of her sketches on her website. Hilarious. And she is a mom of, I think it's a 7-year-old.
Yes.
She's going to correct me. A 7-year-old. Please welcome my guest, Veronica Mosey.
Hi, everybody. How are you doing?
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. You look beautiful. I look like a 12-year-old boy.
Okay. I like it. It's very youthful.
Oh my God. I got the roots. I didn't put makeup on. It's crazy. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I have no career. It's fine.
Me neither. There's no way we're going to get canceled for anything. So it's not a problem.
I don't know what's going on. First of all, I haven't seen you in forever. I don't know.
Probably 2 years, I think. Yeah.
2 years, at least. I can't remember the last time. And I don't really do that much in the city. I do a lot of stuff outside. So I don't know. Where do you live? Do you live in?
I live in New Jersey now. I moved December 2019.
Wow.
So I moved right before everything happened.
Now you're from New Jersey, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. I remember I was born in Connecticut, but raised in New Jersey since I was like 6 months old. So
can you tell us around where you? Because I know of New Jersey.
In Morris County.
Oh, okay.
Sakasana. Does anybody know Sakasana? Everybody's like, Saka what? They always say that.
And that's where you live now too?
No, I live in Union.
Oh, okay, great. Oh, that's not that far. There's actually a big Greek church in Union.
Yeah, St. Demetrius, right?
Yep, St. Demetrius.
And I missed their Greek festival, by the way, which I was very upset about.
They had one, right? They must have had one just recently. Yeah, they're all coming back, thank God. I live on the Upper East Side. Nothing fancy, just it happens to be the Upper East Side. I've been here forever and ever. My husband and I, though, did move apartments at the end of the year. So because we got a bit of
a better spot.
A little bit, yeah. It was like a lot of things, But anyway, it is good. Not that far from where we live, but you going to New Jersey and having a child, especially, I know because my sister has 2 kids. They're a little older. They're obviously older than you are. Girls, they're 2 girls, teenage girls. But I've seen it, and I've seen friends that have kids your age. It really became like impossible, difficult. School, just the whole thing was just breaking down. I don't know how you did, but was that the driving force? Was it COVID or you were just ready?
What, to move?
Yeah.
Yeah, we moved before COVID happened. So we were just like, oh my God, this is great. We have a deck. What? No school? Oh, okay. That sounds amazing. I mean, it was really hard. It's been very difficult because we live in, like I said, in Union, and we didn't know anybody. I mean, we know nobody, and we still are trying to get my daughter to get friends because so she was in school for about 2 months and then everything shut down. And that was that. I mean, we really had no way of and then everybody tried to contact. I don't know how you feel about this, but I'm sort of over it. I know some people are very,
me too. So a while ago. Absolutely. I'm with you.
Because things like losing 70% of your income for a year, that can really alter how you feel about sacrificing for other people.
Right.
So it was like, the idea of, I would say to a mom, hey, on Zoom, my daughter's on Zoom classes, crying all the time, hating it, whatever. And I'd email a mom and say, hey, my daughter seems to like your daughter on Zoom. Maybe we can get together and like go to a park or something. And one mom literally wrote back, here's what I'm comfortable with. They have to wear masks the whole time. They're allowed to play for 20 minutes, no playing on the play structure, and they absolutely cannot be near each other. And I was like, let's just wait till that vaccine comes out.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was really awful.
Isn't it? I don't want to make this all about COVID, obviously. And I was in the car last night in traffic, and that is the only time I'll ever do a Facebook Live is if I'm in major traffic on usually the LIE. Surprise, surprise. And I was saying, and I was talking to myself, but kind of pertinent. I was saying to whoever was watching, can you imagine if you go back to when COVID started? Let's say March of 2020.
Yeah, 2020. Yes.
Right, 2020. Let's just say March, end of February. Yes. Yeah, I know, right? You got to think 2020. Think if you calculate the hours. I don't know if you can. I don't know if I can even add them up of how many hours you have spent talking about COVID.
So true.
If we started to accumulate all the conversations, even with strangers, it is like half of the time. We could have been doing something else,
I know. It's so crazy. And for me, when you're a little more cash about it, it's very difficult to navigate. Like you're like, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, do I need to wear a mask when I go to your house? Like how, I don't know what's happening. I think that's the hardest. There should be like websites like, here are the people who are really paranoid. Here are the people who are like a little paranoid. Here are people who don't give a fuck anymore. I don't know. It's just, I hope I can curse. Oh gosh.
What? No, it's good. No, it's fine. No. And I'm excited because you and I are clearly on the same page.
Yeah, it's hard because I just say like even things like now, like vaccines are out, then, people, then they're saying, oh, well, you can still get it. So it's like, yeah, but then if that's the case, then we just need to go back to life because like we have 85,000 people at these football games, but my daughter's still wearing a mask every day in school because she's not vaccinated. You're just like, but nothing makes sense. That's the problem for me. And I think as comedians, sometimes we work our own logic, you know what I mean? And it's difficult to navigate a world where you don't understand anything.
And I was having a conversation on Sunday at a friend's house. It was my friend's sister-in-law. And she's one of these people, she's like a contrarian, like no matter what you say, she's the opposite, just to say the opposite. Sure. But anyway, and she was like, and it's science. And then all of a sudden, I've known this woman for 40 years. I've known her since I was a kid. And she's like, she said, I have a science background. I'm thinking to myself, when the fuck did you get a science background? But
yes, everybody knows somebody who knows somebody.
It's like, okay. And then she went on, and it's like, but all the message, she goes, we know, it's almost like they learn how to talk in riddles. Like we know what we know at the moment, and then we change what we know. It's like, yeah, so that's right. That's like Waze, Waze knows what it knows at the moment, and then it changes.
And then all of a sudden you're like, where am I? I'm completely lost. That's a lot of times what happens. I think the thing is that everybody's afraid to say that they don't know. Right. Like I have so much more respect if like Fauci got up there and was like, we know nothing.
Right.
So we're going to just go crazy. And that's it. He always sounds like he has a cold. I hate that.
Well, he's got the raspy, Demi Moore voice. So
he wouldn't look as good on a magazine though, covering his stomach. If he was,
listen, it's become very political. Families have broken up.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I gotta tell you, there's a marriage I know that it wasn't the reason, but it was definitely the straw that broke the camel's back because of decisions that were made. I mean, it's crazy.
It is crazy.
I personally think it's man-made. I think it was meant to destroy, and it's doing a great job, especially in our business. Right,
Yeah.
especially in our business.
Well, that's the thing is people, I literally had people say to me, you need to sacrifice. And I was like, okay, so let me understand something. So the government takes away my child's schooling, right? So therefore I'm not able to even work at Costco if I want to, because I have to now be home with her.
Right.
I mean, I was arguing with school boards, saying like, you're preventing me from working. Do you understand? Like, because the teachers, everything was about the teachers. And I was like, well, what about the kids? We forget about those little guys that are in the classrooms that are really not at high risk of this. And no matter what people want to say, I saw an article about so-and-so and this, I'm sure you did. Those are the articles that sell, the ones about everybody dying. The kids are all dying. And it's like, there's still no proof. Ask people who work in ICUs, ask people, how many kids are in there? No, we're not seeing a lot of kids, but they don't want to say it because it's just weird to me. There's just a lot of shit that, again, the whole contradictory, like saying the variants are out and it's crazy, but Broadway will be open all the way by September 29th. You're like, what? But how does that make any sense? Oh, because we need money. I mean, I really believe, I believe that it's obvious. I don't, what's funny is you find the far left and the far right's coming out of the woodwork. That's the other thing too. It's like, all of a sudden I'm talking to somebody and I'm like, oh, wow. Like you think that they put a piece of metal in my head now. Like, it's like, I can't, I'm kind of one of those annoying centrist people.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I can sort of see things from both sides. So then people hate me for that. They're like, well, you have to be on this side or that side. It's like, well, you're not going to get that.
Right. But you're on the side of, you want to live your life. You don't want to be reckless, but you want to be reasonable. I mean, I feel the same way. And it's just like, we're just out of control. And to put everybody, anti-vax or whatever, you don't know what, I know some people didn't get vaccinated for very, very good reasons.
Absolutely.
And it's just like, you can't judge like that. That's insane.
Also, I really don't understand I'm not afraid of anything. It's like once I'm like fucking Superwoman. Like, I'm just like, I don't know, maybe it's stupid of me, but I really feel that the push was that if you're vaccinated, then you're protected to 95% against severe illness, right? That's the fact. Now, some people
protected, but it's not about giving, it's about you protecting, right?
But the thing is that that's what I'm saying is that now, like this whole thing where it's like you have to be extra cautious around unvaccinated people. First of all, the assumption that someone has COVID is what's funny to me.
Yes.
I mean, just like the idea that like this person who's been in their house and doesn't really go anywhere, they're not vaccinated, so therefore they must have COVID. Right. And also too, you need a viral load, right? Like to get COVID. So if you're not vaccinated, if you're vaccinated and then you hug someone who is not vaccinated, the concept that the COVID's going to jump out of their mouth if they have COVID and just go right into you and just, the first movie that people watched when everything shut down was Contagion. Right. It was the highest watched film. That shows us where we're at, is how crazy people are. They want to be part of this thing. And I actually read an article in the Times that was talking about people who don't want things to go back to any kind of normal because they actually like the living on the edge of your seat living. They enjoy it. They thrive off of the constant panic. And it's really messed up. It's really messed up to me.
Right. Now, your daughter is 7.
She's 7.
And every age has its set of challenges, and every age is important, right? Yeah. 7's really important. I mean, the reading, the math, I don't know which one is the most crucial, but that's a big one. Yeah. She's in second grade, first grade,
second grade. Yeah.
Second grade. And it's like, so, and they can't express themselves, and they're in the pods, and like you said, the teachers, and then there was that's one thing for the high school kids, but it's another thing for the young kids to be on Zoom, and you guys, for the most part, most parents fight to have their kids off of the laptop and the phone. And
that's right. Well, that was a big point that I was pretty outspoken to like in boards. And of course, the board has a legal right to not respond to you. So if you ever go on a board meeting, understand that is why they sit there like this. Because they can do that. They do not have to respond to you, but you can easily express yourself in a million ways. And I found it funny. I did say, first of all, I really appreciate the superintendent showing up in his best t-shirt for this meeting. And also then I said, I find it interesting. We're expecting kids, and this was a note that was sent out by the superintendent. He'd said, we expect all the children to treat this like a regular school program, and that they have to pay attention, et cetera, et cetera. And I said, and most of you people have your cameras off because you're doing dishes or you're doing whatever you want to do, but you're expecting a 7-year-old to sit online and I saw kids sobbing. I mean, now mind you too, I had a friend who works in Madison School District. They were open the whole time. More money. Okay. People with more money, that's where the school stayed open, because all the rich parents would go, there's no fucking way that my kid is staying home. I need them to go to school. Wow. Funny, because COVID doesn't affect rich schools. I didn't know if you knew that. CDC put that.
Right.
Anyway,
yes.
So the thing is that what happened was she had 2 kids that she needed somebody to watch, and my daughter needed friends. So I said, "I'll take your kids." And then I have a finished attic. We call it the Atticson Academy, and I made it look like a classroom the best I could. And I would sit there and monitor them on these screens. And, they were all like getting depressed about it. And they were all just kind of trying to hang in there. And sometimes I would just go close the computer, close it. We'll work online. We'll work offline. We'll do it. We'll get the work done. I'm going to email the teacher, say this isn't working out for us, blah, blah, blah. Go ahead, try to fail us. Give it a shot and see what happens. They didn't fail anybody. You had kids who then I posted them, which I got in trouble by the principal for. I posted pictures of kids that were sobbing, crying, because the teachers would go, the kids would be like, I don't know, because they'd be like, go to the Google Doc, click on the link. But now this is kids who are 7. You understand that? 7. Click on the link, click on this, and then I need you to go to this tab. And the kid's like, I don't know what a tab is. My grandmother doesn't speak English. Mute your microphone. And you're saying, holy shit, why is the teacher not getting offline and saying, hey guys, everybody's gonna take a break. I'm gonna meet with so-and-so personally. We're gonna it was nuts. But when you try to showcase that and you try to tell people this is what's really happening, they would just shut you right down.
You're like an investigative reporter.
I am. I'm a nosy bitch.
Oh my gosh, I love this. Because I'm with you. I'm like, just say the truth. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't bullshit me. Don't lie, even if it's what I don't want to hear. Just tell me the truth. But you parents, for the most part, know their kids best and know what their ability is. But it is very interesting that you say that there are schools, just like in the city, the private schools were open.
All of them are open.
Public schools weren't.
Who's going to pay $20,000 a year to have their kids school and work online? That's
we're
ridiculous.
On the same block. I mean, it was insane. And just more.
But it's funny. I would bring that point up to people online. Sorry I hope the audience isn't expecting a hilarious conversation today.
We go with the flow here.
The thing is, people I'd argue online with people. And then my husband's like, you got to get off the town forum because people are going to hate your guts. But I said, look, how is it the public schools are all closed? Oh, well, because the classrooms in the private schools are so big and there's just less. I'm like, that is not, first of all, they took a survey in Union Township. How many parents want their kids to go back to school? How many people want their kids to be out? It was a 50-50 split. Well, win-win, right? So you have 50% less enrollment in the classroom, and then you have some kids working remotely. Have the teachers set up their stupid camera in the classroom. Whatever you get to learn online, you learn online. There's other people in person. Probably would have been 12 kids a class. You could spread them out. You could have done the whole mask thing. Right. They didn't really care. It's the teachers union. It's a teachers union. I would say in 2 seconds to anybody, the teachers union is evil. They're horrible people. They don't care about the kids. It's not about the kids. It's about how much the teachers can get. And a lot of the teachers just wanted to not find babysitters. I mean, that's really, I would watch the teachers with their kids running around playing and stuff like that. And I'm saying, well, what? Oh, I see. Oh, it's because you don't want to find childcare. And then people would say, well, teachers aren't babysitters. And I'm like, I'm sorry to tell you this, but they are. they're very highly qualified babysitters, but that's how we have our society set up. Is that they go to school, we go to work. That's how it works. Like this idea of criticizing parents who said, get the teachers back in the classroom, they are essential workers. The people would just rip you apart. It meant you didn't care about teachers. You hope they all died. It's all that polarizing bullshit, which is, people need to stop falling prey to that. That is really the funniest stuff to me.
What I was going to say was, it's like here, with the, first of all, with, and I've said this on, I don't care how, I hate the mayor. I hate all these politicians. They're disgusting and they're all on the take. You're going to see how wealthy de Blasio comes out. They all come out, even Washington too. They're in politics for 40, 50. I don't care, left or right, doesn't matter. And they're like multi-millionaires. They got 14 houses. How is that possible when you have a salary of $125,000 a year? How is that possible? So, what I was going to say was, I feel like he picked on restaurants, comedy clubs, and all that. So it's like, so I can get COVID at Gotham Comedy Club, but I can't get it at Whole Foods when I'm buying kale. Like, it's just, it was ridiculous. The same thing with the whole thing with the vaccine cards. I'm not against the vaccine. I'm against having to this. It feels very intrusive. It just does. It makes people uncomfortable.
Of course it does. Yes. And what about the person who, one of my girlfriends, she got COVID and she did not get vaccinated, but she also has tremendous issues with her periods and things like that. And so she just didn't feel comfortable. So now she can't, so she got COVID. She has high antibodies. They're saying to her, now you want to talk about science? That's what drives me crazy. My father was a biology professor. Okay. My mother was a science teacher. So when it comes to basic science that we learned about viruses, it is clear that if you have something, you usually develop antibodies. That's why you don't need the shingles vaccine if you've had chickenpox, right? Because they're closely related. And in general, you shouldn't, if you had it as a child, you should be resistant to shingles as you get older, right? Because of the antibodies that are in your system for your lifetime, right? So now all of a sudden they don't test anybody for antibodies. They don't test anybody for anything. You just go, you get your shot, and then you're done. That's it. And I'm saying, well, I don't know if it's a one size fits all thing. I don't think. And I think I watched a great guy on, he was actually on CNN. He said, he owns an art gallery in the city. And he said, I'm vaccinated. I'm comfortable. I'm not going to turn away people from my gallery because they're not vaccinated. And he goes, 60% of the Black community is not vaccinated. He goes, you want me to start telling Black people they can't come into my museum? I'm not doing it. Or my gallery. It's a great point. It's a great point because you're just discriminating against people for no freaking reason. In the comedy club the other day, I said, I go, isn't it great? We're all getting the variants right now. It's so fun, man. I'll tell you, crickets. People just don't want to hear it. They don't want to believe it. They want to think that they're somehow separate from the dirty, unvaccinated people. I just don't feel like that.
Oh my God, so much is going on in my head right now. You're definitely singing my song. The thing with the antibodies, I completely agree. I had a friend that got COVID and she had gotten the vaccine like a week later because she was scheduled to get the vaccine. This was like the beginning, and she wound up getting it. She said she got more sick after than she did with COVID. Sure, so that's number one. And a couple of weeks ago, I actually had a doctor on. His name is Dr. Peter Mikalosa. We have a lot of Greeks on here.
I like that.
And he is an ophthalmologist, and ophthalmologists deal with a lot of viruses from the eye. So
that's right. Yeah.
Very, very long story short, and if anybody wants to go back and hear Dr. Mikalos, he's out in the Hamptons, so he helped them get PPE and all this in the beginning because he felt like he knew what was coming. He called himself also a pandemic historian, which I thought was fun. I was like, I didn't know that was a thing. But basically, what he was saying though was about the blood test and seeing if you're tight. I think he said like tighteners, and so he was talking about blood tests, and also what he was talking about. And again, my friend's sister-in-law, who's the know-it-all, I was trying to tell her that what Dr. Mikalo said was vaccines are not the solution. We don't have an AIDS vaccine. Right. The reason Magic Johnson has lived and he looks quite heavy, as a matter of fact, with AIDS, is because of the cocktail that was created of antivirals. He said it's going to be the antiviral and the oral medication that's going to keep this going, and then the vaccines will be sort of like a flu shot type of thing. It really is insanity. And, the same thing, like, I go outside forever. I mean, after like the first month or two, for me, when I went outside, the mask was off. I'm just,
I think it
can't be. I was coughing dirt. So I'm with you. And I feel like, they've put the paranoia in so many people. And just to kind of get to our careers, comedy, I've had cancels, I've had postponements of the cancellations, I almost got it. I mean, we are contractors, we spend more time looking for work than the actual work itself.
Sure.
And it's been a horror. I've had so many conversations. I do a lot of private stuff and I do things in the Greek community. And it was like, okay, we really want to do something. We want to get fundraisers going. And then all of a sudden, again, Fauci comes on, whomever, oh my God, this many people, blah, blah. You got to get a vaccine in 2 months.
Right.
And then that's it. It's like, no, we're too scared. And it's like, oh man.
I know, it's very frustrating because you want to say, well, you realize that everybody was unvaccinated before they're vaccinated, right?
Right.
People still, I mean, even if you know people, I do know people who passed away. This was early on. People with pre-existing conditions, for the most part, it was the people who had those issues were, exposed somehow and got sick and then passed away. And, it happens. I think the concept for me, it sounds very cold, and I'm sure people would say you don't care about other people. I certainly, one of the issues I have in this society is that you are either you're all with us or you're against us attitude. And I believe you can have a certain opinion and also care about people. Right. You can say, I really want my kid to go to school, and I also care that teachers are alive. Right. I just believe that you have less of a chance of even getting it, being around the least vulnerable population, better than the guy stocking shelves at Costco, who was the essential worker that we had to. He had to go to work and work with hundreds and hundreds of people every day. He's an essential worker, but the teachers weren't. Anyway, but back to what we talking about. Oh my God.
But let me ask you this though, since you mentioned your daughter. So when they talk about the vaccine being available for
no fucking way, I will be the first person who's on the governor's lawn with a freaking bullhorn. I told my husband, I'll get naked and take a shit on his lawn and tell him to fuck off. There's no way. It's absolutely unnecessary. I mean, when you really think about it, the idea of people saying, yeah, let me get, first of all, my neighbor across the street, and her son's throat closed up. He's 14 years old. His throat closed up when he got the vaccine. They had to give him some sort of a, like a Benadryl type of thing to get him to stop having that reaction. You're saying, well, why though? Look at the numbers, look at the fucking data. Why? There's no data to show that these guys are at high risk. So why would you, that's like me getting a vaccine for dengue fever. What are my odds that this is going to actually kill me? I've known probably a dozen kids who all had COVID, mild headache and then sniffles, and then they were done. So this idea that every kid's going to get COVID and die, but then what they do is they say, no, it's not about the children. It's about protecting them from their grandparents. Well, at this point, I would think that you know how to take care of yourself, right? So maybe the grandparents should be quarantined in a shed in the backyard for a little while and keep them away from the kids and let the kids have some freedom. Because when I see more, the other day at the park, kids with the mask on up to here, he's whatever, 6 years old, and how he looks. I mean, I just find that it's appalling.
Disturbing. It's disturbing.
And I also have friends who are behaviorists and people who work with IEPs in classrooms who are saying that this is the detriment this is causing to kids, especially between 3 and 5, which are pivotal years in a child's life in development, speech development. They need to see. This is why teachers talk like this to kids that are in kindergarten, so we can see their faces. This means we're sad, and this means we're happy, and this is surprise. That we do it all the time, and now the kids are not seeing that except from their parents. Right. Come on, this is absolutely stupid. So no, the answer is flat out no.
I won't say who. again, not that anybody that I'm related to ever watches anything I do, but it is somebody I'm related to. And she got her, she's a 17-year-old or 16-year-old. Anyway, she got, so he got vaccinated because it's about sports, because she's crazy with the sports, and she's
Right, that's what this one too, because of football.
Everything is about sports and whatever. Right. I think I think she's more into the sports than the kids are. But okay, anyway, I get it. You don't want your kids sitting around. I mean, of course, I get that, and it's sports is a good discipline and all that. But she has a 12-year-old, and he is short. He had, the change of the voice has not kicked in. The mustache hasn't kicked in. He's very lithy, all this. And she didn't give a shit. She got him. And I said, aren't you a little concerned that he's sort of on the cusp of puberty? And they were concerned because he is short, about his growing. They even went to the doctor about it and blah, blah, blah before all this.
And also that the FDA still hasn't put full approval. This is the emergency use only thing, which to me means kids are dropping like flies. Well, that's my interpretation of an emergency.
Well, Dr. Mikolos said that it gave the pharmaceutical companies the ability to not get sued once you have the FDA approval, that they get sued. But so her response was, I don't care if his arm falls off. He has to do sports. That's more important. Their mental health is more important in her mind. It was their mental health is more important than any physical ramifications that he may have either now or later. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
So,
I saw a post, this woman, her son, his leg had blown up like a balloon. It was like all red and rashy. And she said, this is my son after he got the vaccine. If he's willing to do this, then so should everyone. I'm saying, wow, I thought your reaction would kind of be like the 180 of that. The mom would be like, that sort of sucks. Like, be careful. You never know. Like, my brother got tested for the measles vaccine. My brother's 60 years old. He got tested for the measles vaccine because he had something happen where his doctor said, let's make sure he can tolerate it. If he had gotten the measles vaccine, he could have died. That's what my mother says. I don't know if she accepts it, but he could have had a very bad reaction to it. So he's never been vaccinated for measles because he got tested first. What I don't understand is why they don't just do a tiny, like a pinprick test or whatever the fuck it is that you would do to make sure someone can tolerate the vaccine before you give it to them. Again, I got it because I'm a selfish bitch. I didn't give a shit about your grandparents. I did it so I could make sure that I can go back to work, because there's every comedy club, you can't work in the comedy club unless you're vaccinated. Then people, and I've said that on stage, and how I get the judgy looks from all the people who are going to brunch every weekend. And I'm like, oh, really? You're not, you didn't get it for yourself, right? Because you're just so good. You're just so good.
Right. Oh my
God. Very annoying.
Oh, Veronica, I love you. I mean, because you're made to feel sometimes like you're a horrible person. And again, just like this conversation that I had a couple of days ago, and it's just like, what? I got it because I want to travel. I want to go to a restaurant. I want to go to a Broadway play. I want to go with my elderly aunt to a Broadway, I want to do things, and that's it. And I got the card, and I'll go on record and saying this is it. I'm done. I'm not getting a fucking booster, this and that. Knock on wood, spit. I'm Greek, so I'm very superstitious. Spit. I'm in good shape. This, that. I honestly wouldn't have gotten it if it didn't get to this point. And also, I live in New York City, so they've made it completely impossible to do anything. But
I do think we are entering a dangerous
booster. You can kiss my ass. I do a lot of things in my life to make sure that I stay healthy. I don't drink, I don't smoke, vitamins, I work out, I try to lay off the sugar and the greens. And one more point, and I want to get to what you're working on.
No. As long as I can rap by like 2:25, we're good.
But and you'll appreciate this when people go, well, if you're not vaccinated, you shouldn't get, and you get sick, you shouldn't get a hospital bed. And I'm thinking to myself, if you smoke cigarettes, you shouldn't get a hospital bed. If you're an alcoholic, you shouldn't get a hospital. If you're doing heroin, you shouldn't get it's like, if you're overweight, like grossly overweight, are you shitting me? So it is really, so you're like feeling the way that I feel, like your head spinning. It's like,
the other thing too is like, you got to think about things like, my husband's from Australia.
Mhm. Oh, right. That's right. I remember you telling me.
The other day on stage, just for fun, I said, because I knew what the answer was going to be. I go, any Aussies here? Now, a long time ago, I'd say Aussies, and they all scream out. And I go, oh, right, they're not allowed to leave. And it's true. It's true. They're in lockdown again. And it is really, you want barbaric, like draconian shit. Just look at what's happening in Australia. Look it up, people who don't believe any of this shit. There is video all over the place of people, the cops are just like pepper spraying anybody who walks outside pretty much. It's like, you can't walk outside. If you go on your driveway with no mask on and you're talking to your neighbor, that's a $200 fine if they catch you. There's drones all over the place, flying everywhere, telling everybody to get inside or stay 6 feet apart from each other. It's fucking crazy. They are acting like crazy town. And the vaccine they have is AstraZeneca, which I think is on the clearance rack over here in the States. So I don't even know where the fuck they're getting this. You know what I mean? It just doesn't make any sense to me. And it's bad. And my husband was like, do you think that's going to happen here? And I was like, yeah, we have guns, right? People have guns. Like here in the States, it's like, try doing that in Georgia, right? Try doing that and seeing what happens in Texas if you try to take over and throw people on the ground for going. I mean, it's crazy. It's really bad.
Right. Oh boy. I mean, I loved you before, but I actually love you a little more. You're singing my song. So what's been going on comedy wise? Where have you been? You did something with Dr. Oz.
I did. I filmed with Dr. Oz. I did a segment about wearing your pre-pandemic pants. So it was a very fun little segment about seeing how, because I gained about 18 pounds. I lost the weight, but I ended up, it was pretty shitty time. Everybody I drank too much, all this crazy stuff. But so that was one. And then I did another one called the napping experiment. It was all about napping and seeing how we can, like refresh ourselves or whatever. So those will air sometime. I think one's October 21st, but again, schedules can shift. So just look up his schedule each week if you see something about napping or pre-pandemic pants.
Oh, great.
And then I'm going to be on a show called House Haunters with Anthony Anderson. It's a prank show where the unsuspecting victims are the real estate agents coming in to sell homes. So I'm in an episode of that. That premieres October 1st, this weekend. So I think I'm on the 3rd episode. So that's
what is it on? What?
Discovery Plus.
Discovery Plus. Okay. So you've done acting, comedy. How long have you been doing all this? And did you have a career before this?
I've been doing stand-up for 26 years. I did work in marketing and public relations at, are you here? There we go.
Yeah.
So I worked in public relations and marketing at Seagram, the liquor company, which was also a lot of fun. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, you're so poised and
thank you.
Funny. I mean, again, I was watching your clips. I hadn't seen you in a long time. You have these characters that you do. I'm glad you're working. I saw that you're working back at the Cellar.
Wow. I'll be up, just so they know, I'll be at Crystal Springs Resort this weekend. If anybody wants to come and see me this October 1st and 2nd, I'll be there.
That's in Jersey.
In Jersey.
In Western Jersey. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So, and do you have an agent, or are you just like your own thing?
Everything on my own. I am proud to say it's been all on reputation, which is really nice. I mean, sometimes I unfortunately can't get some of the things I want to get because I just don't have anybody get me in, but I think the time's coming. It's coming for all of the old broads, don't you think?
I'm hoping so. I am with you. I'm a little behind you. I'm about 20 years into this.
Okay, yeah.
And I had a whole career as a CPA. I worked on Wall Street and all that, exciting stuff. But I've been all in I quit my job 13 years ago, so I've been all in, and it's been incredibly rough and it's very frustrating. And I live in the city and I still can't get into any city clubs. I mean, I've done them all. I do things, sporadically and stuff. It's just,
but there's a lot of comics out there who are really talented, who are working in film and television, who really they never explore those venues. It doesn't really matter. I always say the business is always there. That there's so many aspects, you can have so many irons in the fire at once. It doesn't really matter. And you're doing your own thing.
Right. Well, no, the podcast I've been doing this now. It's like 6 years. And it's been great. And I've gotten to meet great people, and I've done a lot of writing and all this. I'm actually trying to write a book, which I've been getting a lot of advice. I've been putting it down. Have you ever written a book? I've
been trying to write a screenplay for about 10 years now. It's hard.
It's hard,
The
right?
stand-up is all about look, the laughs come fast, right? In
Right.
stand-up, you know in 2 seconds whether or not something works.
Right.
When it's a long format, you're just like, I don't know how this is gonna go. I'd rather let me just go back to jokes. That I know.
Right. And
Yeah.
you know, about 6 years ago, I ran into Karen Bergreen, right?
Okay. Yeah.
A colleague of ours, what funny. And she's written a couple books, as has Ophira Eisenberg.
Yeah.
Michelle Buteau is doing amazing. She's got her book, Butopia, aside from all the other things she's got. I mean, it's great. And I really am so happy to see these women.
Michelle's a good friend of mine.
Is she? I mean, just amazing. I'm just amazed at everything, and had twins. It's like my husband and I, the only thing we really committed to was getting married. We don't have a house, we don't have kids, we don't have a pet, we don't have a plant, we don't have our car is old. That is the only commitment we've ever made in our life.
But you know what you have is freedom. You have that. I have things like this in my house. This is what makes me of a 7-year-old is this kind of, I'm like, do we need these? Yes. Yeah.
But I remember running into Karen, and she had just written her, second book or her third book. And she said, I was like, how'd you do it? I want to do it. And she goes, just every day, just write a little. And I tried that, and and it just, and then you stop, and then you get distracted, and then you're like on this, and then social media has totally, between COVID and social media, I've let it suck my life.
Yeah, I get it.
So I'm trying to kind of go back to that, and the book has had 50,000 iterations. Okay. It started out as this and it's that. And because as time goes on, things change and whatnot. So now I am going to write about what I know. And the book is about being a failure, because that is actually what I am really good at. I mean, who's got degrees in this and that, and it's like a nobody. I'm not even like hilarious. A pickle on an.
Everybody's a nobody. Ass. You're nobody till you're somebody. That was a song.
Oh my God. So that's it. That's what I'm trying to write. And you know what? I'm coming up with ideas because I really know how to fuck up. Listen, I mean, without doing drugs.
I think failure is your friend here. I think for sure, Ellen. That sounds like a plan to me.
I'm selling failure. So, I'm in awe. I'm in awe of your talent. You're beautiful. You're a hustler. You work hard, and you have a family. I think, which at the end of the day, that is incredibly important to have that. Yeah. So I'm lucky. I'm happy. At least I have my nieces and nephews. I'm a godmother. We're Greek. We're close.
Yeah.
So that's good. So we do get that. We get some of that. It's not our own, but we do. We get a lot of that, especially with my sister that lives close to me, and we've been very involved. That's why I know about the school and all the things the kids have been going through. And so you keep fighting the fight, girl.
Thank you. You too, and hang in there. I know it's tough, but I think things are going to come back. I don't accept the concept of this new normal. I think most people are like, nah, I'm not taking that as the new normal.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's going to, and I think, and again, not to get into politics, but it is, I think, driven, no matter who, what, whatever, both sides. I hate everybody. I hate everybody is really what's come down to. Some people think I'm like this right winger. I was at the insurrection. Some people don't know.
I recognized you with the paint and the buffalo. Right. Yeah, the Grand Poobah hat.
It's just like, really?
I knew you looked familiar. You just that glasses are a ruse.
Right. Yeah. That's my thing. First of all, I don't have enough ambition to do that anyway. So it doesn't even matter. But it's just like, I just want my thing. And I think this is probably you. I put people in 2 categories: good people and assholes. That's it. It's really kind of cut and dry,
It is. Yeah.
But I'm glad that you're out, you're at the cellar, you're at the clubs, you're doing your thing, and hopefully we'll see your screenplay.
Yeah, I hope so. From your lips to God's ears, we'll see what happens.
I know, it's that discipline thing. I can't stand it. Give us your social media and all that, where people.
They can see my website is veronicamosey.com, and I'm also just Instagram Veronica Mosey and Facebook Veronica Mosey. Pretty easy.
Great. And if I hear of anything now that we sort of reconnected and stuff, I just keep that open, we'll keep
Yeah, same thing here. Sure. Yes.
Open, because sometimes it's like, I need, and then you're in Jersey too, because a few weeks ago, someone asked me about somebody in Jersey and I recommended somebody, but I didn't realize you lived there. So
there's a lot of work here. So
yeah, there
I'll
is.
keep an eye out for you as well.
Yeah, there is. I'm Ellen Karis. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Greek Chick Comic. Facebook, Ellen Karis, Greek Goddess Comedy, or go to my website, ellenkaris.com, for this fantastic podcast and all of the rest of them that we've done for 6 seasons. And we thank Veronica. She's amazing. Follow her.
So much for having me.
Dr. Oz, Discovery Plus. Until next time, bye.